We have much more logistical and economic planning to do. We have weapons purchasing to do. We've got a whole lot to cover here as we get into things, guys. So let's go ahead and let's jump right over to where I wanted to begin tonight's playthrough with the situation in Missouri here. We need to figure out what it is we're going to do, what it is we've got, right? We could, I think what I want to do, we're going to swell to about 5,200 men in the Army of Arkansas. We'll still have roughly 2,004 guns in the Missouri State Guard. And I might use history as a guide here on May 5th, 1861. Allow for a concentration of these two forces here in northwest Arkansas, down this way somewhere, probably, you know, here or maybe here. And I think I want to prepare, because our intel says right here of this Union Army that they're going to build up to as many as 13,000 troops. Now, my guess right now is that they are not in the green readiness, but that they are more likely to be in like orange or yellow, you know, just able to move, kind of like me. We didn't give the AI any particular buffs. Pretty sure that they were able to add readiness at the same rate as us. And so I think that that is all good. And I think we should be able to counterattack in Missouri, win a decisive battle against the Department of the West. Somewhere around in here is kind of the plan, I think, moving forward out west right here. And we'll go with that for the time being. We continue building forts. The other thing I want to do, let's do this really quickly, is to see and double check if we have any engineer officers that are coming into this army. It doesn't look like it. I think I want to add one more small brigade from Alabama of 1,500 men, and they will be made to be engineers, because we'll give their commander that trait. I think that looks good right there. Let's upgrade them to the Mississippi Rifle. Okay, and then De Rosy, no, we won't do that. Let's go, let's go professional if there's any engineers. So we have captains. Okay, that's fine. Let's do Martin Smith. He's already promotable to major, and we'll assign him as a colonel. Martin Smith of this engineer brigade, let's say, and I want him to be a brigade. That way we can start killing two birds with one stone, so to speak. And I'm going to have him either detach west to begin building forts elsewhere, or detach east to begin building forts elsewhere. I really haven't quite decided just yet. So my list includes these things to go over for the stream tonight for sure. We did talk about the crisis in Missouri. We can pretty much check that off, but we're going to be addressing that as the game continues tonight. I have an attack plan to go over down in Fort Pickens. I need to rehash my fort location planning. I've got several different forts that I want to build. Drury's Bluff, I want to recreate that near Richmond. The Carolina forts, which I've already told you about in prior stream and am planning for. Along the Tennessee River, we're going to call it Fortress Henry, but I'll show you where that's going to be. The Mississippi River, I think I might want to try to recreate Island number 10. And then we've got to worry about either New Orleans or Galveston Bay in Texas. And Galveston is going to become a really important port for us if we want to sustain our operations in the far, far west. We need to locate a new military hospital. Review of ammunition supply chain. That's going to be a detailed, kind of slow-moving administrative type of deal that I may save for quite a bit later. I need to firm up my weapons orders, planning, and execution. I'll tell you how we're going to be doing that. We're planning for diplomacy money. Now, the money and subsidies for diplomacy, how are we going to use that in our projects? That's one thing, as well as how we're going to use it outside of our projects. I want to get into that. Our next policy decisions, We're going to be going through those as well. I could probably jump into those sooner rather than later. I also maybe wanted to jump into some of our armies and work on some flavor work in each of the armies, do a little bit of RP and add some names and such. And then we'll be trying to execute on all of this as we go. So next up, after addressing that situation in Missouri, and now that we are ready, I think, to roll, really, we'll go ahead and push play right here. Helicat, welcome on in. Glad to have you. I'm thinking of attacking with Bragg. I'm thinking, because we've got a fleet here now that's green. I'm thinking Bragg relocates himself. I'm going to see if he can get here. Okay, no need for a force march or any of that, but go. All right, and what we're going to do, or the idea anyway, is to use the fleet, come down here, we're going to hit it. Now, this is a level 2 fort, so we could have a problem, a real problem on our hands. We have 15 field guns going up against this thing. That may be a fruitless endeavor. I'm going to probably test it with the infantry first. But the attack plan there would be to come around, come down the Santa Rosa Peninsula right there. I lived in this area for a good long time, so I know the names of some of the places there. And hit it from land there while we're hitting it from the bay, Escambia Bay, from Pensacola right there. And see if we can get, I mean, really, it's kind of like a, let's see if we can get lucky and win a battle for the fort. And if we can take it, great. If we can't, and Bragg's Gulf States militia has to pull back, then what we'll focus on most likely is to have him come over here, locate maybe closer to Tallahassee and around here, or over closer to Jacksonville, and we'll worry about that. Well, let's get him moving. There was another thing I wrote it. I didn't write this one down, but it is definitely top of mind. So we did do one where we kind of continue to reinforce. But that was to kind of mention about policies really quickly, right? So we've got military one. There was a commenter in the last stream when the VOD posted. Philip Hughes, I think it is. I appreciate him watching along, by the way. Huge, huge, huge. Noting the difference between military policies and this militia act, being that this is the thing that gives you more recruits to recruit from here, right? This gives you more recruits. This just gives you more subsidy. If I was ever trying to explain that in the sense that this was something that gave you more recruits, I don't think I ever did, but if I did, I was mistaken, I was wrong, or I was just communicating it wrong. Yes, this is just subsidy funding. And so now we've got military one passed. We got the additional money in subsidies now, right? So instead of it being maxed out at 10 million, it's maxed out at instead of it being maxed out at 5 million, it's maxed out at 10 million now. And that goes for our diplomacy subsidies, which we increased to 10 million after passing Diplomacy 1 right here. We are looking at, and I'll get into this, I think, right now, a plan to get this done, and then we're going to print notes immediately. I don't care about inflation. We need the government to be solvent, and so that will take the priority. The next thing, too, was considering whether or not to do regulars, but likely I will go for a Diplomacy 2 coming up real soon rather than later. And the reason that I'm doing all of this right now, so we've got our military financing up, and as a matter of fact, I don't need it to be quite so high in the diplomacy slider. We'll bring this actually down a bit. Unfortunately, there are going to be some funding cuts. Guys be a little disappointed. Them's the breaks. We'll leave military a little higher, 9.5. And what this is going to allow us to do eventually is afford a couple of priority things we want in terms of projects that will allow us. First, I believe it's legacy rifles. Let me check my list real quick again here. Legacy rifles first, using our military subsidies. And then what I love is that you can kind of estimate how long it's going to take before we're going to be able to start this project. Subsidy funding for this right now is $952,000, and we need $1.5 million. So at the rate that we're going right now, which is $9.5 million per 12 months, you kind of do a little bit of math on that, and you come to, you know, I don't know, like 800,000 or so for a whole year. You know, that my math could be way off on that or pretty far off. But at any rate, that means this should be where it needs to be in, say, as little as 2 months, maybe 3 tops. And then we'll be able to do legacy rifles. The next thing to do with the military money will be for there to be recruitment offices, okay? And that will also not take that long. It's only $1 million. So we should be able to get that done before the end of 1861. That will help boost our number of recruits. That will really kind of, I think, serve more the, not the raising of new units, more so the replacement of casualties, I think, in our ranks, most likely. I'm not looking at cavalry reform yet. I'm not looking at any of this artillery reform yet. I'm not looking at that yet. And then the next thing, as far as diplomacy too, and our diplomacy money helping us, is getting these Austrian rifles, right? We need 2.5 million. We're already at 859,000, and we're looking at maybe 800,000 per month. And so you're looking at being able to get these Austrian rifles, the older Augustin muskets, and the Central European Revolution Independence War muskets. Austria can also offer its newer Lorenz rifled muskets as well, right? So it'd be good to get those in before a blockade takes full effect here along our shores. So we'll be using our diplomacy money for that. But before we use it for that, I'm seriously considering, because I think this is a prudent step, before we get hammered with a blockade or anything like that, I think it would be a good idea for us to do a level or two of trade deals with all of this extra subsidy, diplomacy subsidy money that we're going to be collecting thanks to us passing Diplomacy 1. So I think that we may start using the diplomacy money with trade deals. Okay, what this basically means is that everything is going to get, foreign trade and all of that, it's all going to get cheaper for everybody, which is a good thing generally for the economy. And you're trying to make sure that we try to boost the war economy best we can. Send envoys, frankly, for us in this campaign, it's basically useless, in my opinion. I think in a tight spot where, like, if we're about to go to war with Europe or something, or it's looking that way, then maybe we send them at that point. But otherwise, I'm not necessarily for it. Once we get government subs or government funding passed next, coming up, right here, we'll get a bunch more subsidy for economy. Of course, all of this adds to the expense sheet over here, right? And all of these forts that we're planning on building will do the same. But we're going to add our economy subsidy. We're going to ratchet that up just a bit. We're going to bring agriculture down. This is going to be our central government doing just a teeny tiny witsy bitsy itsy bit that it can to, I'd say, push back against the slave-owning plantation power class of the South that would love to keep the government gravy train running for itself, but where the government says, look, you guys make crazy profits on your slave labor, so why don't you find some other money besides the gravy train, okay? So there's kind of our plan as far as projects go. I want to stick with that if I can. The next thing was to talk more about fort location. I want to build, once we get here, the Department of Richmond, once we have Early's brigade in place in 8 days, I'd love to detach him and send him right up here to recreate Drury's Bluff, or, put a fort right here so that if any Yankees get up the James River, they'll have to stop and fight that fort. I think we'll use that and this as a nice little de facto field defensive emplacement to stop an invasion up this way, like what McClellan tried to do in history. And I think that will work pretty well for us right there. The other one was a fort that I want to build. Not here. I think I'm going to build it where Fort Henry was. Call it Fortress Henry, and it'll be like right here. This will be like Fort Donelson here, and it'll be a different neck of the river right here guarding this railroad bridge. And then we'll have Fortress Henry that's right here. Okay, and then I was thinking of getting crazy, like super crazy, and bringing a force up to like up here and building like an island number 10 right here. That would be a nice speed bump for anything that they're trying to do down toward Memphis by river. These river thoroughfares are a major concern for us, as was the case in the real thing. And you are well advised to take seriously the threat from the Yankee Navy coming through that area. Now, what you end up doing, or what we end up doing, I hope, is kind of forcing them to come down this way or this way by land, right? And then we put them in a spot, you know, down and around here where we can get at them in field battles and beat them, and hopefully beat them and drive them back. Maybe do a deal where we can actually take the army and bounce it back and forth along this rail line. So this rail line that goes from Bowling Green all the way to Memphis is going to be really key for our Middle Tennessee and West Tennessee defense, that's for sure. Then there was, oh yes, that is right. We wanted to, I showed you before, the plan for a fort down here, like right here-ish, so that if there was an army coming from over here, they'd have to fight a fort before they could get to New Orleans. I just don't know who I am going to be able to get raised over here to do it. The other thing on top of all this is this fort construction plan, we're going to have to prioritize. It's going to be triage. The priority is going to be all the forts that we're trying to do here. Okay, and then we are continuing fort building here. This is the next priority because we need to protect Norfolk from a direct assault from back this way. It would be good to protect Pamlico Sound with some forts like we're trying to do. Lee's South Carolina State Militia. That is General Robert E. Lee indeed. We're going to rename them CSA Engineer Corps. Bink. Right? So let's go with that right there. And he's making his way by boat eventually out here. We've got the North Carolina squadron that's going to patrol the area here in defensive. Okay, we've got, what, 6 ships there? 6 small little ships with a couple of guns on them. But they can help us out. I tell you what they'll do is I think they'll kind of meet Lee's force right here. Very good. So let's go in and let's start looking at the Army of Virginia right here. I wanted to see if there was, you know, a little bit of flair we could add here. We're going to have 21 or, you know, a little over 20,000 troops and 27 guns when we get everybody together. We need, okay, good. All right, so they name the brigades after the commander. That's good. Hawes. Let's go Hawes Cavalry right here. McCown's Battery. So, I'm thinking we... Mm. So, is it possible to take the initiative and invade the North first? Yeah, sure. I might. I might try an invasion. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Where I plan to be aggressive, I'm going to get to that here in just a second, I promise. I talked about that in the last stream, but I think it's worth going over again because as the CSA player, you kind of have to like pick and choose and decide really like where am I going to attack in the coming campaign, right? So McCown's Battery, that's fine. Cooper's Brigade, this is all good. We don't have any elite brigades yet to rename, right? So we'll have to skip that. How many more recruits do we have to work with? We really have a lot. For our Eastern Army, though, we just don't have a ton. We really will have more. So we could take some more from Georgia. Do an infantry brigade from Georgia. We'll go Butternut and Gray. Looking like that right there. Okay, DeRosie. Now, these guys, I want them to have... He's a volunteer. I want these guys to have a professional engineer as well. I need an engineer. I need to identify kind of engineering units in more places. I did not do a good enough job of that as the Union when I did my Union campaign. So we're going to have a colonel, a breveted colonel, Trapier, in command of these 2,250 men. And there'll be a de facto engineer brigade that can help us in the future. Maybe with this engineering commander right here, we'll be able to build stuff faster. Maybe we get some more engineering points at the beginning of battles and on so on and so forth. We'll have just over 22,000 troops now and 27 guns. Those who watched the prior stream will remember we pulled back. We're trying to make the Union decide. Uh-oh. Okay, we lost sight of the Yanks right here. That's interesting. Where did they go? Ooh. What's the AI doing tonight, boys? Okay, let's take the James River Squadron. Nah, we can't get past Fortress Monroe. Shoot. What do we have? 4,300 men right here? Okay. We have the Army of Pennsylvania. 500, it says. Okay, we need to locate a new hospital, so let's work on that. And all the while, as I was talking about, keeping an eye on our credit rating, which is making me nervous. We need a new hospital, though. We'll put it in Richmond. Let's hope that the AI doesn't find a way to flank Richmond. That would be a bummer. Okay, minus 1.2 million for that. But the problem is, so the idea that I might be scared that they're finding a flank and attacking somewhere... probably unfounded because their readiness has got to be so low. Okay, so we located that new hospital. That's good. What was other stuff on my list here? Yeah, okay, so we were kind of... Now, we were going to go through where we were going to attack, right? So I am going to make an absolute nuisance of myself, best that I can. Come up here, use Fort Gibson as kind of a launching point with my Indian troops. And we're going to raid. We're going to try to raid. And we're going to just get pesky and we're going to screw up as much of the Union economy out west over here. Those are the pipe. That's maybe a pipe dream. I don't know. What we may end up having to do and not have a choice about is having to fold all those Indian troops into the Western Army and fight in Arkansas like was done historically. You know, all likelihood that's what has to happen. But the dream, the idea is for my native troops, my Indians, to have their shot at some sweet revenge. And we don't mind them aiming them at some, you know, we don't mind them aiming their rage at some white Yankees. We don't mind too much. It's going to take these guys a while, it looks like. So that's pretty well everything. Now, let's go down here near Galveston, right? So we were talking about building another fort down here. I just don't think there's going to be a big attack coming down this way anytime super soon. We're not ready yet. We got to get in the orange before we can even think about building anything. The Army of the West. See, we've got quite a few troops. 2,500 troops, 6 guns. A lot of cavalry. A lot of cavalry. We're going to be waiting quite a while. It's going to take a while for these guys to get together. We may end up 53, so a couple of months. They won't be able to get to it, I don't think, until late summer of this year, and that's fine. Army of the Northwest. This was one we could probably reinforce with one more brigade here. Let's bring him out over from Kentucky. That's fine. We'll make it a brigade of 1,500 men. They'll be wearing light blue and gray. Bingo. Okay. George Smith. All right. Now this I want to do. So one of the folks who commented in the last VOD was talking about how it is important to assign political commanders, because if you assign one from, you know, if you assign one in his home state, that state oftentimes will, or if you assign one and he's in and he's a general of a lot of troops or whatever, that state's support will increase. And frankly, the CSA government can use all the support that it can get. So let's see how many political unassigned guys we've got. Joseph Lewis, Edward Crossland. Who's kind of the best one we could get? Hanson, a lieutenant. We will assign him as a colonel of this brigade of Kentuckians right here. Now, that's one thing. Hanson, not sure. Okay, got it. Member of Kentucky State Legislature. No way, I didn't even know that. A lieutenant in the 4th Kentucky Regiment? How about that? Does it? Maybe the game does that automatically. Maybe they give you guys from Kentucky that'll, you know, that will do it, kind of thing. That may be something. I'm not sure. But we'll have these guys. They'll be up to about 2,200 men, and that'll be good. Still looking at this Triple B. Not loving that. Not loving that. What do we got here? Okay, Price arrived. My corps has reached given objective. Okay, readiness, current deficient readiness. Yeah, well, we were pretty well aware of that. Back out to Missouri. Okay, these boys need to stay on defensive, and once we get into the orange, we're going to pull him back further. Now, Benjamin McCullough, we will bring him to this crossroad. Ah, okay. We will bring him right to the state border, just like that. Bingo, fort's done. Okay, Army of Tennessee will now move here. Now, he's in the red. Now, since it's Johnson, I think that even if they're in the red, they can still move in a friendly state within their own command range. I think that's how that works. Anybody want to jump in the chat and correct me on that, feel free. Love how we got this newspaper building there in Nashville. That's going to help us with intel out west. I would go 5 times, but I do not like how this Union Army has just disappeared on me over here. Do we have Jeb Stuart with 300 cavalrymen? Let's detach him real quick. Okay, no. Stuart will get replaced by an unassigned professional cavalry guy, George Stewart, Captain George Stewart. He'll be assigned command of them. And then this will be our Jeb in command of the whole thing. And this will be Jeb Stewart's Cav. Boom. Okay. And we're going to have them with 301 men. Can they move yet? Yep. Let's go down here. And I want to try to get them to where they can come over here and peek at whatever the Yanks are doing over here. Obviously, I've still got control of Alexandria, so where did they go? Are they invading somewhere? Yeah, Union invasion. Where? Where? Anybody in the chat? Huh. Ah, there they are. Okay. Okay, so they did come across. Army Northeastern Virginia on the move right here with 18,000 men and 25 guns. Looks like they came across to Alexandria and will park it right there. Good for our cav to come watch in this gap right here, I think. That'll go. That'll be good. That'll be good. Oh, and then we got some rain coming. If they want to go anywhere, they'll be slowed down by that. Now, let's... Oh, no, I can't yet. I got to get back in the orange. I was going to build a depot, like right back here, maybe near Fredericksburg. Let's have the James River Squadron just come on out right here. Let's put them in defend, but they're going to blockade. See if we can keep them getting into a argument with the fortress. Interesting. Okay, so they'll go back. Got it. Okay, that's fine. Let's go 5 times. Ah! Okay, Stewart got to his destination. Take a little time to rest. See, this is why time compression gets me in trouble, guys. That's why I kind of go with a little bit of a slow burn. We're just kind of hanging out, playing a little Grand Tactician tonight. I think you might have to bear with me, keeping it as a slow roll. Playing as the South, I mean, you gotta keep an eye on a lot. All right, let's come out here and let's have Stewart take a detailed peek. Let's see if he can really see what they really got. He's got rain to cover that. Okay, now here was the other thing I was going to look at. And as the South, you do have to mind this, I think, a little bit more. And it's to understand where all of my ammunition is going to be coming from, right? So we need ironworks, okay? Level 2 Tredegar Ironworks, good. The Richmond Armory, same thing. These two armories in Richmond are cranking out between them, I think, close to 10,000 pieces of small arms ammunition, and then over 13,000 pieces of artillery ammunition. What the? That's crazy. Their efficiency is low, though. This is where we're going to want to probably increase industrial subsidies. That may be something we do. We go for industrial subsidies and down the policy train for industrial instead of doing King Cotton as readily. Okay, and we're making plenty of cannon. It's just that this is what we have to rely on, plus whatever we're getting from imports. Let's go goods and trade. Artillery ammo. Right? We've got 57,000 in our depots or in the system. That's what that means. And so plenty of artillery ammunition right now. Let's go with small arms ammunition. Oh my gosh, plenty of that. See, demand low right now. Artillery ammo, a little higher. Not getting very... I don't know if that's a good price or not, really, for it. But that's the other thing, is what does it take? What are the inputs for the ironworks? What do they use? Iron, lead, gunpowder, coal, steel. Okay. So how much iron, lead, gunpowder, coal, steel are we making? Iron. Right. Coal. We produce 600. Yeah. Iron. Okay. Average price is kind of cheap, but it's going up. Lead. Plenty of float. And this is all coming in to steel. Quantity of float is huge thanks to foreign trade, I think. Fantastic. Niter. Ton of it. Iron ore. There we go. There we go. That is a trip up for us potentially right there in terms of the economy. Helicat, good question. Member, a man who earns and pays for the pleasure. Welcome on in once again, Helicat. Appreciate you asking that question. Forts do. They basically will... They will automatically engage an army or navy that comes up close to them and stop them in their tracks. And you know, they'll either fight or fall. Oftentimes they will end up falling. Here we go. Got a news agency in Nashville. Fantastic. All right, Stewart's cavalry will come over here. Try to get his command radius with this army in it, which I think will just give us a little bit better intelligence on it. Oh, I keep getting sidetracked, guys. I apologize for that. But what I want to do offensively, right? So the case in history, I talked about this already, okay? I want to go with my Indians in the west, we are going to raid like crazy out here. I was talking about that, right? Okay, we may find an opportunity to attack in Kentucky. We may. Tough to say for sure. Right here, we need to get ourselves ready again in order to build Fortress Henry. This is going to be... Ooh, I like Fort Watkins. That's fine with me. Let's open this up. Let's go garrisons. Fort Watkins. I'll tell you what, let's go. I think we got to go Fort Donelson. I think we got to respect. Well, it's located differently, right? So Negley, Major Negley, is a volunteer of not such great quality. We're going to go ahead and replace him with a political appointee from Tennessee who is ready for duty, and we'll make it a captain. Yeah. Fame is pretty high. Captain Francis Bartow will be assigned to the garrison in that fort. Oh, whoops. The Fort Donelson garrison. That's funny. Donelson. Donk. Perfect. Okay. So, bingo. And then we'll go 1 Tennessee brigade. Really small one. Bingo. 1,500 troops. We'll garrison that. And we'll have them do, boom, white pants. And we'll have them be like that. Mixed muskets, yep. And Colonel George Smith is a volunteer. Let's go ahead and allow that. I'm fine with it. 1,500 men that will be in Fort Donelson. Once it changes, which will take some time, I think. That's funny that takes a little while. Just don't let Pillow command the fort, yes. So, there is no stopping the blockade. There is only running the blockade, is the way that I would put it. The Confederates and my Navy in this, the Confederates Navy in history and my Navy in this playthrough here in Grand Tactician is not going to be able, most likely anyway, to face off with the Union Navy. It ain't gonna go well if we try. So we kind of have to plan around that. And I talked a little bit about that last stream, but I figure it's not a bad thing to get back into here. And that is that we want, if we can afford to do it, to start adding as soon as possible these ironclads. Okay? We want something like that. Ironclad river gunboat, just like that. A cotton-clad ram wouldn't be terrible. That's actually probably good for coastal forces. An ironclad gunboat would be really good. Ironclad gunboat ram. Ironclad ship of the line, that's not going to work. But all of these, we're going to want, if we can, because we're going to be, by the way, we're going to be using up. So iron, these, we just learned that we have plenty of iron, wood, sheep parts. That may be something for us to look at too. Right now, I think we'll be able to, once we're able to afford to get them and unlock them, is these ironclad, timberclad. No, the timberclad gunboat would be fun. The cottonclad, the ironclad river gunboat, the ironclad gunboat, and the ironclad gunboat ram. if we can get those, there were projects, I do believe, over here. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that real quick. Okay, rebuilt ironclads. Okay. Team forgetting the casemate ironclad ram. Okay, so we end up getting the ironclad rams from that. Construction of these ship types requires advanced level 3 shipyards, so it's that's worth noting. Okay. Bulwark built top of ironclad while ship's difficult propulsion issues. So that ends up giving us that. Okay, then we get ironclad gunboats. Okay, so it's a separate thing. And it's all going to require military subsidies. Right? Confederate gunboats, these would be great to have, I think. Okay, then armored gunboats. Right? We've got to do all of this with our military spending. So it's good that we went ahead and we upped through our policies right away to get to military 1. We're going to probably have to try to stay ahead on that. And as a matter of fact, sooner rather than later, get to military 2 so that we can keep our military subsidy level pretty high. That, I think, is going to be important for us. All right, so Stuart. Stuart has gotten himself closer. How well can we see these boys now? Still says 18,000 with 25 guns. Okay, fine. I think they've got all their troops. I just don't think that they're ready to get on the move just yet. Department of Pennsylvania, kind of same thing. They've got 16,000 with 20 guns. What do I have here? Close to 2,000. I'll have 14 guns, but close to 9,000 once we get everybody reinforced there. Let's get Johnson. Let's get up near Harper's Ferry right here. Let's get right up near the bridge. Don't worry about going by train. All right. So we'll start with that. Okay, we're in the yellow here, and I think I would like to get... So this is something I don't love. Coal mines, lumber mill. Oh, here we go. Union armies on the move. Lincoln unwavering. Union invades the South. Yes. The citizens of the United States have been calling for action against the rebellion. The president has finally answered this call. Today, Lincoln has announced the Union armies are moving into Confederate territory. Indeed. Before this action was taken, support for the Southern cause was steadily increasing in slave states, as Lincoln was seen to be unable to solve the crisis at hand, much like his predecessor Buchanan. However, with Lincoln showing a stronger resolve, many advocates of rebellion have grown concerned. Now that the people in the United States know that their leadership is acting, the anticipation for action has turned into hope for a quick victory. Yeah, that's the case on both sides, buddy. Definitely got a lot of optimism. Worried that we're a little behind the 8 ball in terms of preparing the Army. That's why we fell back with the Army of Virginia behind the Rappahannock River. We'll probably allow, if we end up getting isolated and attacked here, we're going to have to try to be quick. We're going to have to try to keep the Army's readiness high enough. I want them, if they have to run up the Shenandoah Valley and not along the B&O Railroad if they have to scoot. And I want to try to keep a close eye over here. Best I can. Here we go. Lee getting ready to embark. Okay, he's going to be off in about a day or so. He'll get out here and we'll start building a fort. And I might leave it now instead. I might leave it at building a fort here. Ooh, here we go. The British declare neutrality. Royal Navy to avoid American ports. No! Any blockades to be monitored by Admiral Milne. The Admiralty to reinforce Milne. 4,300 regular British troops in Canada? What? What? The British Empire has issued a proclamation of neutrality regarding the American Civil War. This follows Rear Admiral Sir Alexander Milne's orders from last December to avoid any measure of demonstration likely to give umbrage to either party in the United States. Since then, the Royal Navy has avoided the American coast. Milne, in command of the North America and West Indies Station of the Royal Navy, has received reinforcements, as the British Admiralty is concerned about her neutral rights. British warships of Milne's Station have been ordered to protect commerce against any intrusions from either side. Reports state that in Canada, the British regular forces number no more than 5,000 men after the majority of troops left to fight in the Crimea. The commander-in-chief in North America, General Sir William Fenwick Williams, has been requesting reinforcements regularly since the Civil War broke out. What? So, is there a British army somewhere up here right now? I don't think so. It would be, I want to think in Windsor, but I don't know. I don't know. Reminder for anybody who's new watching tonight, this is Alternate History Gaming. I am Bank60s, your humble and gracious player host as always. Click the thumbs up button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Tell a friend. Jump in tonight with all of us grognards and the Civil War enthusiasts as we play through in defending the South. We prepare for war tonight. We've been at it now for a little over an hour, making our way through May and June. How close are we out here now? Are we getting there? We're getting there. We're getting there. Really want those two forts built. That basically protects Nashville from the water. And we'll have left the Cumberland Gap and lower Kentucky to cover. I'm thinking, which brings me right back around. So let's go to something that I looked at in the last stream. And by the way, I think Stuart can pull back and rejoin the Army of the Shenandoah. And let's have him... Can't force march, okay. Oh, there is no double... force march is kind of double timing. But was to go over where it is I might launch some offensive measures, or offensive campaigns. And really, it's going to be relegated to, as I talked about before, raid. Keep them busy out here. Raid and make them send troops to St. Louis and to Missouri. That's the idea. Western armies and Indians. Raid. Then, this is the other place where I'm looking at probably putting together some serious offensive maneuvering. And I would say that has the most to do with a couple of things, okay? We need to drive Union support below 60 before November 4th, 1862 in the midterm elections. If we do that, then for the rest of the game, the Union national morale will steadily go down. And one way to help drive that morale down quickly is going to be to capture Washington, D.C. Now, if we keep it, it doesn't matter. If we can give it up, it doesn't matter. I think that they lose 20 national morale, the AI does, right off the rip, because that's what happened to win us the war when we were playing as the Union, by the way. Go check those streams out. They're awesome. And they lose 20. Right now they're at 86, right? So then, bam, we're already at 6 national morale away from pushing them below 60. And then I think we're fighting a winning war at that point. So my strategy has to be, I think, in the East to probably be pretty aggressive. And what I'm hoping is that we're going to fight a major battle or two. We're going to try to get ourselves win a major battle, first victory. We're going to try to get that one done sooner rather than later. We would cost them 5 So if we do that, there's 5 national morale for the Union down. If we then, not long thereafter, take D.C., there's 20 down. That would put them at 61. And then if we were to just do good elsewhere other than that and drive them down below 60 by sometime middle of next year, I think we're looking at a pretty good campaign is what we're looking at right there. So I think the strategy in the East is where we can be offensive in nature. Now, taking Washington, D.C. is the trick, of course, right? The Army of Pennsylvania. This is the Department of the Ohio. That's going to be the force that comes down through Kentucky. This is neutral right now. Kentucky is. See, 55% Union support. If they send troops in here, there's a chance Kentucky goes over to the Confederacy. I've never actually seen that actually happen, but we'll see. All right, let's pull back. Ah, shit. Okay. Let's pull back. Nope. Okay. Got it. Since our readiness is in the orange and we're in Missouri right here, we got to continue to just sit and wait. If they come at us, we will withdraw 100%. The Army of Arkansas continues to increase its readiness. What I will do over this way is build a new depot. Okay. Let's get this off of here. Do we already have one up here? Yeah, okay, we have this one. But it'd be good to have another one right about over here. Okay, we have to place it a little closer to us, huh? Okay, so let's... Such a small army. We're fine getting provisions from all sorts of different places here. And as you can see, Springfield has allegiance to us. So does Carthage. I have lived in Carthage. I visited Springfield a lot. So they're sending us stuff. How much does the Department of the West have again? 11,010 guns. Wow. I feel like that's an inflated number. I feel like that's an inflated number. Johnson. Yep. Construction completed. News agency. Yep. Ah, Lee at destination. Very good. General Lee. Let's have you, sir, build a fort. Ah, okay. We're going to need you guys to go right there. Whenever you can begin your move, sir. All right, these guys, I think, will continue back down this way. In the yellow here now. Fantastic. We'll build a telegraph station down here. Bonk. All right, that's the other thing. You've got to keep your infrastructure built up real well behind you. Okay, Stewart's coming back. Let's go ahead, transfer him back into Army of the Shenandoah. Donk. Okay. Jeb Stewart's cav goes away. All right. Then we go down to here and we replace once again, and I hate to, have us going roundabout all over the place. Oh, it looks like we're going to have to... shoot. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to wait for Jeb Stewart to come back. That's kind of what... there's a little bit of a game mechanic at play there. That's part of what happens. And that's all fine. All right, up to 10,000 men right here. You spend a whole lot of the early game really just kind of getting ready. It'll start stopping the recording right there. Ha! Get a Raiders hat. Uh, what are you trying to do there, Nosferatu? You trying to go on my list? Sheesh. As if. So, drill camps, good question. Oh, hey. Okay, there's a good tip from Archimedes. Okay, let's check this out. If I click the Missouri State Guard and I go click back in Arkansas, he's saying like, ooh! Well, how about that? Let's double time, boys. Let's go. Thank you, gentlemen. That is huge. Okay, so we're in the orange. That's why we could do that. He'll come all the way back. Fantastic. Thank you. Archimedes. Clutch. That's a huge gameplay tip right there. I did not know that. Right? I have not learned everything. Not by far. The Department of Richmond, shall we? Do we have early yet? That we do. Okay, we're going to split him into his own unit. He'll be under Gideon Pillow. Fine. And we'll call them Early's Engineers. Bonk. All right. Early's Engineers are going to go right over here. Okay, and then we're going to get started on that fort we were talking about. Now, the CSA Engineer Corps will get started on this one. No! Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, that's a bummer. Ah, really? Okay. Well, now we know. All right. Let's go ahead and let's take them back. Shoot. So you really can't recreate quite what happened right in history. Oh, here we are. Union just did Militia 1. They're going to have more recruits to put into their ranks now. Okay. All right, Lee's force needs to come back. We're going to go instead to here. And we're going to go by sea movement. No rail. Right there. We're just going to go across there. And I think we'll be able to build a fort over here. We'll see. Hey, Alabaster. Yeah, I will say that the algorithm is it's picked up on me lately. It's working for me. It's good. Feels good. Feels good. So yeah, I'd say now that we have the Missouri State Guard moving its way back toward us here, I think it'd be time for us to go ahead and get a depot going right here. Let's do it there. Okay, that's going to bring our expenses up a bit. Definitely worth it, though. Here as we enter mid-May. Triple B plus again, baby. Fantastic. I'm thinking about sending Johnson's army, if they let us, across for a raid of all this. Frederick, this mill right here. This canal, these canals. That's interesting. Is that... I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Ah, the music. So relaxing. All right, let's go back to my list and just take a look, make sure I didn't... Oh, okay, so what are we going to do after... So weapons procurement, right? We talked a little bit about this. This is tempting to go ahead and do, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'd rather do legacy rifles. Like I said, holy smokes, it's not even going to be a couple of months. It's going to be a couple of weeks. So we're almost there, and it's only been a couple of weeks in game, so legacy rifles are coming fast. Right? We're going to do that. And then what I was looking at with more of the military money was the recruitment offices after that. And then Confederate guns right here. Finance Confederate weapon industry to produce Southern artillery. You get a 1-pounder Williams gun, which is really interesting. Fires up to 40 rounds per minute. You only ever get to do one order of less than 50 pieces of that gun. Then you get the 12-pounder smoothbore gun. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with that, and then I may put these to work early. The 1-inch Williams guns. So that will be the plan for my military subsidy project spending. After we do trade deals a time or two, I'm going to go straight up to Austrian rifles with my diplomacy money. How close are we getting on government funding? All right. 10 more days, so we'll be into June when we finally get that. Fantastic. Oh, hey, no, I did not. Good question. Good question. Great spot for a fort, right, Helicat? That was annoying that they didn't let me build there. Yeah, I should have burned this depot right here. Didn't do it. Didn't do it. He's moving slow because he's so messed up. Here we go. Now we're ready. This fort can be built. Right there. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so we'll do that. Lee is embarking. That'll be fine. Gotta love this support at 98. Holy smokes, man. That's crazy. I can't believe we lost sight of these two forces like we did. That was really weird. All right, finally into the orange now with 10,000 troops. We got all 27 of our guns. Let's take a look at the Army of Virginia. See, we do have one division right here. Under Frost. He's got 8,000 men under his command right now. Ewell, Jones, Hampton, Walton. Is it time to upgrade any guns yet? I don't think we have the ability to do as many as we'd like. Let's do Springfield muskets with these guys. Go. And as soon as we get those legacy rifles, by the way, we're going to have these boys cranking those things out. We're probably going to start with like 5,000. We're going to then do probably 10,000. And then I'll try to get the standardization to increase significantly. That way we can at least start cranking those out for our troops quickly and efficiently. All right, here we go. Another fort. Drury's Bluff. Right there. 13 million to do these forts each. 13 million a pop, right? So this is going to drive us down. That's heavy spending right here. Okay, building 67 million. Army upkeep has gone up. Okay, we got more in supply depots and recruitment. Gonna have to watch it. Gonna have to watch it, boys. Yep, issued new bonds. Yep. Pillow. Okay, he's building with Early. Good. That won't take as much time because Early is an engineer. So that'll be good. Army of the Shenandoah has almost 3,000 troops, got all 14 of its cannon. Army of Northeastern Virginia still at about 18,000 men. 16,000. Okay, they're going to be up to 10,000 men soon enough. Okay, how many troops are we looking at right now having? Not that many. We could bring another group in from West Virginia, 1,500 troops at the Army of Shenandoah. Only 56% support. I don't love that. Let's have them have gray and brown. They'll look like that. Good. Mixed muskets is fine for now, anyway. Appreciate everybody who's jumping into the stream tonight, guys. Yeah, algorithm has got us out. We are known now, baby. This is Alternate History Gaming. I'm Bank60, your humble and gracious player host. Don't forget, click that thumbs up button to let the algorithm know more. Huh? Subscribe to the channel if you're new. This is what we do. Black Powder Wargaming. Whole lot of it. Civil War in particular. Grand Tactician even more so. We keep our eye on the folks making this product because they got something new and exciting that's coming out. All of you groggy nuts out there, you know about the Napoleonic Wars product that they are making soon. That's an exciting one for everybody who likes wargaming in the Black Powder era. That is a big one. Savannah Squadron. Let's go with Tatnall's Squadron. Just change the name a bit. And then let's add some of these. CSS Dodge and the CSS Coryphus. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Haha. Well, Andersonville prison camp for LARPing. Good question. We already have two. So we had two prison camps that the AI built for us back when we forgot to turn auto manage off of literally everything. They built one up near the Texas-Oklahoma border. And they built another one in Natchez, Mississippi, or near Vicksburg. So, we already have two. Let's see. Maybe we can name them. Can we name them? Jackson Manufactories. Where's the dang prison? Let's use this. So let's use this and just go boom. Is this it? Ah, here it is. Bingo. Okay, the Natchez Prison Camp. I don't think we can rename it. I think it's got to stay the Natchez Prison Camp. Don't need to upgrade it yet either. And then the other one is over here. Right on the river. Right here. The Washita Ferry Prison Camp. That one may end up being famous. That may be the one. Send all of our prisoners out here to the Indian reservation or near there? Get out of here. That's where you want to send all the Yankees, by God. That's a great little alternate history LARP, if you ask me. That'll be, I hope anyway, I hope that will be the bad one. The Washita Ferry prison camp. I mean, that right there already sounds like a place that men go to die. Not sure how this is going to go. But we're going to plan for an attack. Okay. We'll have them on scout. Okay, and then we're going to come down here. We won't double time it or anything. Oh, shit. Okay, well, the order's out. It'll take an hour and 15 minutes for them to get that order. Okay, then these ships are going to come out on offensive. Raid. And we're going to attack Fort Pickens. We're going to go on May 22nd. The ships will come out. Right there. All right. Let's push play. We'll see how this goes. Okay. Looks like we came right out. Got right to fighting. Fort bombardment underway. Holy smokes, you got a level 2 situation right here. Fort firepower 17. Naval firepower of 10. These ships are getting hit hard. Disabled already. This isn't going to go well. Whew. You see the Gulf States militia coming in late. These guys carried out their orders a little too soon. This isn't going to be the most coordinated attack. We're already on the retreat. Ooh, Buchanan Squadron. They're going to run down the coast instead of back into Pensacola. That doesn't help us too much. And Bragg is going to be slow going here. That's not the best. Fort Barrancas didn't give us too much help across the bay. The Gulf of America Squadron. Embarrassed a bit, I think. We still have all 3 of our ships. That's the good news. The Gulf States militia is going to be on their own. Boy, taking Fortress Monroe would be sick. All right. We are going to we're fine. We're getting provisions from all over the place, so we don't really need a depot for the army right now. We'd need one if we were operating up here. How we doing? Good. Price is making it back. Slowly but surely. I believe we'll fold the 2 forces together here. And then again, the idea in Missouri, as I come back around to the Missouri crisis in May, is I think we'll set up kind of, we'll advance into in and around Springfield. And we'll burn this depot down. I tell you what. Yeah, let's can we stop? I don't think we can stop. We have to finish building it. What we'll do is we'll seek a battle with their Department of the West out here. That was the idea, is to seek a battle out there. Oh, here we go. Army of the Mississippi, they just formed up, it looks like. Okay, they're going to have 8,000 troops. All right. Our Army of Tennessee, with 11,000 troops in it now, Do we have that engineering brigade yet? We do not. They will be there in a day, though. So when they get there, they will immediately detach and head over here. And I think what we'll do is, just to make it quicker, we'll come over here to Dyersburg, or this area, and we'll build that fort kind of right there. Speaking of building forts, Lee is here, and we want to try and build one. There, bang. Okay. Wait. What? Oh, I see. So no, we want to try to get it right there. Perfect. Minus 14 million for that one. All right, so you know this is going to be costly for us doing all these forts. We got to get that government funding done. It's 6.4 days. Okay. Yep, bonds. Yep. Could run into a problem with all these forts, gentlemen. What that does is that, you know, we're spending money that we can't spend on troops and equipment. And meanwhile, the North is going to be able to inject huge amounts of troops into their armies now. You know, I'm a busybody lately these days, I will say that. So, taking time to sit and read historical accounts is not something that I make a ton of time for yet in my life. But I do appreciate the recommendation, sir. I sat and I read all kinds of different stuff in the years preceding me becoming a busybody, you might say. Yeah, bye-bye Triple B plus for sure. After this fort building, yeah, there'd be a little bit of trouble there. Might want to build with these guys a telegraph station. Right there. Cheap. Those are cheap. Cheap. I would say these guys want to do that out here, out in the middle of nowhere. Donk. Yeah, shit. Disaster at Fort Pickens. Gulf States militia fleeing in panic. Support for the Confederate cause wavers. The Battle of Fort Pickens has ended with the Gulf States militia retreating in panic. The enemy reportedly suffered casualties, none. Our casualties, 1 man, 0 killed, 1 missing. So, what a battle. The Gulf States militia. A little pillow fight down here at Fort Pickens. They're going to head all the way back up into Alabama. That's fine. So, Gulf States militia comes at Fort Pickens, starts a quick siege, and in a few days, they are scared off by the fort. Yeah, they started the siege on the 21st, and it lasted until the 23rd. Okay. They're still in the green, though. So, They just have these 2 brigades. I don't think anybody needs to lose their job over that performance. We'll just bring them back by rail. And like I said, I think we don't have a railroad here, do we? I'm not that worried about Florida in general, really. There's the salt. The salt is the big thing. And you got plantations and some towns down here. A ferry IIP, but that's not that important. As far as like natural resource cultivation, Florida is really not that important. I love the accounts from guys who were there, you know, even if the memory is not there. You got to think a lot about what's involved with the people who tried to write after the war. They had their own legacies to protect. You know, people, I don't think people consider that. They had their own legacies to protect. They didn't want to come off as, you know, having done something foolish or something like that. When someone's writing their own account of a thing, I think they try to be as honest as possible. And, you know, as it so happens, they end up being real honest about how everybody else did, you know. Okay, we're looking pretty good. Making our way through late May. Building the fort. Good. All right, so we've got our army together here. The Missouri State Guard joining the Army of Arkansas. All right. You gentlemen will transfer to the Army of Arkansas, please. Ah, I see. I see. So we're going to have to go brigade by brigade, incorporating the Missouri State Guard, okay? And we'll try to arrange this kind of like it was in history. Price's command will go away for now. But what we're going to do is with the Army, we're going to add a division under Price, right? And we're just going to take all of the troops that we just moved into his division. Dink. Right there like this and like that. Boom. Okay, now Benjamin McCullough will have about 7,500 men, 19 guns, all together in the Army of Arkansas. This will take a day. Oh, 4 days. Wow, okay. I guess that's because of low readiness. Fair enough. Now, we'll turn this to yellow. We don't need that much stuff. By the way, I'd love to go over that. So when your supply depots are... So this is a little bit of logistics, too. We looked at kind of ammunition, where it's all coming from for us, and where you got to watch out for that, and what supply chains operate for that. Another one to talk about is supply depots. So when you have it on yellow, it means medium fill, right? Red means you want to empty the depot. So whatever's in it empties out and goes elsewhere. If you have it in green, it goes, you want it to be full up, as full as it can possibly get. Well, we don't have that many troops out here right now. So I figure medium fill works good for the time being. And when you upgrade a depot, it will have just that much more stuff that it's able to fill with. So that was one thing I wanted to take a look at for a depot that's been filling medium for a while now. This one down here. So this is what your typical medium fill is going to look like. Okay? Not a ton. And it looks like a bunch is being pushed forward potentially. So what do we have here now? Okay, still low amounts, but the small yeah, so it's populating now. How about the depot that we have here? Right, okay, so a modest amount of stuff. Not a ton. Same here. You can see the amount that you get is kind of uniform. You get like 250 horses, enough forage for that many horses, just about this much artillery ammo, about 5 new pieces of artillery to replace the ones that you lose. Uniforms, weapons, right? I forget what the uniforms do. See, now, I happen to be one who I'm not going to sit here and say I come passionately down on Longstreet. I won't say that. The man had a legacy to look after too, though. When he wrote what he wrote, especially about Gettysburg. Longstreet was a brilliant commander. He, I believe, knew the way that war was changing and how it should be fought. He kind of saw the World War I style of the tactical, the preeminence of the tactical defense coming down the pike. Longstreet, I think, saw that before others did. And I think he had a hell of a time trying to convince people of the time that it would be better for the armies to go someplace, take that ground, and then just camp and play defense in a position where you force the enemy army to attack you where you are. The trick is the enemy a lot of the time, seeing as how these military guys, they all know what they're doing. The enemy army commander often will know where that place is just as well as you do. He'll know where all the choke points are. Same as you. And so it becomes a race to get there. Okay, so then you got to get there first. Okay, well, what if you don't get there first? All right. So now what? Now the tactical defensive ends up kind of going out the window. And I'd say that is where the clash between Lee and Longstreet, Jackson and Longstreet, becomes more of a debate and an argument, is that in warfare, oftentimes, you don't have as much control over the positioning of the troops and the location of the battlefield as you might like. So the idea of going around to over here to a choke point, to a particular spot, and then play defense, it may look good on paper, but it just doesn't always work out that way on the field. And so what you end up with a lot of the time is the argument winning out from the aggressive commanders like Jackson and Lee, who I genuinely have kind of come to, I think I see more from their perspective now that I've learned more and more about what they were doing and why, that constantly aggressing wasn't such a bad idea either. And of course, it all depends. And then as it relates specifically to Gettysburg, I am one who thinks that if Stonewall Jackson had been alive, he would have been assigned command of Pickett's charge, let's say. Number one, day one goes differently, and there isn't even a Battle of Gettysburg had Stonewall Jackson been alive. I believe that is true. I believe that if there had been a Battle of Gettysburg and that had it lasted 3 days, Stonewall Jackson would have been in command of Pickett's charge on day 3. And if there was anybody on earth who could have figured out how to will a victory on the field at Pickett's charge, it would have been him and only him. And it would have been almost, a gnat's chance in hell at that. That is what I believe about the whole conversation relating to the approaches, the different approaches between Jackson, Lee, and Longstreet. Longstreet's tactical defensive works pretty well in hindsight. It works pretty well in hindsight, in my opinion, but maybe not so much in real life when everything's moving. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Sorry about Bragg down there, right? Yeah, them's the breaks with Bragg. That's how it goes. All right, so we've got the Army of Arkansas in the yellow here. We're supplied. We could run up to Springfield. Let's do this. And we'll make a little trouble up here in Missouri. I think it's definitely time. Ooh, we should get some telegraphs out here. Shit. Gonna wrap up May. And yeah, Sherman knew exactly what he was talking about. He was even called, I remember in private correspondence that I've heard and read about, is that people who conversed with him thought very highly of Sherman's intellect. And that it was an unfortunate and sad thing that more people didn't listen to him. You know, and wishful thinking, emotional thinking is what guides a whole lot of the prevailing sentiment in times like these. And good old realistic, fact-based, truth-based, common sense thinking ends up falling short because it just isn't as, I don't think, I think it's because at the time it's either too unbelievable or it's not very sexy and interesting, so to speak. I think is kind of what ends up happening there. They're slowly growing. Here we go. We got to move. Got the Department of Pennsylvania moving toward D.C., and you got the Army of Northeastern Virginia moving out. They're in the yellow. You can tell. So are we. Okay, they had to camp because it was nighttime. They are on the move. I don't want to overreact, but if he's moving this way and he's moving this way and rotating that way, I think I might like to pull back to here with Johnson. Double time it. Abandon this depot. Or no. Empty it first. Okay, and Johnson's going to get up and march first. The Army of Virginia ever watchful over this way. If we can get a 2-on-1 against the Army of Northeastern Virginia in a major battle, with it separated from the Department of Pennsylvania, that will be preferred for sure. Would have liked to have used the trains there probably a little bit. Little retrograde movement there. Fine. Yes! Okay, we got our funding one. More focus on Confederate economy. Yes, sir. Printing new notes made possible. Tariffs on imports to increase. Yes, economy preparing for war. Indeed. Okay, we needed that. We needed that. We're going to need to let a day go by. We're going to need to keep those tariffs pretty high, I think. Oof, interest rates went back up again. Damn it. Unemployment's up. We're still expanding, though. That's good. All right, we got to let a day go by. See, we're getting this fort built real quick with Early's engineers. I would say the same likely for this one down here. Yep, almost halfway done. Department of Pennsylvania coming down. Haven't quite emptied that out yet. See how we do here end of May. And here comes the Army of Arkansas, baby. First action out far west. I'm guessing we're going to have ourselves a nice clash somewhere in here. Probably have the army rest outside Springfield, get itself ready, probably build one more depot right there. Let's empty this one out. Okay, just about done with the Fortress Henry. Very good. Okay, now, boom. Let's go economy. We don't need to do that much, okay? We could do 5, you know. That's fine. Let's see, ag, let's bring it up to 1 point. Dooch. Industry, bring up a bit. 1.7 is fine. Mighty, you trying to tell me my business, damn it? There's only so much viewer participation allowed in this CSA campaign. This is my CSA campaign, damn it. I'll send troops to Kentucky when I damn well please. Giving you a hard time. So policy we want to jump back into, right? We want to do the what does print notes do? Remind me again. Printing new money will bring short-term relief, but will result in inflation. Yeah. Government will receive $50 million in newly printed money each year. Oh, well. What about print notes 2? Another $50 million? Well, $50 million ain't nothing. It ain't much, but it ain't nothing. We're going to have to add some liquid currency to the market, so I think we have to do this. Boom. Print more notes. We got to get the economy ready for war. And then let's go into our projects and let's do our first round of trade deals, okay? Finance the nation's diplomats to negotiate more lucrative trade deals with foreign nations. The trade deals will allow better prices when importing and exporting goods, giving a boost to the nation's economy. So we're going to do that real quick. Bam. And then Confederate rifles is another one I'm going to look at probably for the future. So let's just keep our eye on that. Confederate guns, we could do that. But first, we are going to do recruitment offices. Finance the establishment, management, recruitment offices across the nation. Local and effective recruiters managing the nation's recruitment effort. More volunteers are likely to offer their services for the nation's cause. So we're going to do that. It's available volunteers plus 5%. Okay. Good deal. So that'll just add that many more. We, you know, every little thing, every little bit counts for the revs, man. And you end up going and letting the day go by again. We can take a look at that. There's the meat cutter, a prime member of the channel. That's my guy right there. Cutter, good to have you in. Cheers to you, sir. A man who earns and pays for the pleasure. That is a veteran member right there. Been in a long time, supporting for a while now, even before we got cool. Have I been practicing? I do that southern accent. It just kind of comes out. It just kind of, the southern accent, you'll hear me do all kind of different versions as we're fighting in different, the southern just kind of, it just kind of happens. It just comes out. I'm a weirdo. Yeah, we want to pull back to south of Winchester so we can link into this railroad. And if we could use this railroad right here, golly, I may be eyeing an attack. There may be an offensive in Virginia coming at Manassas Junction or near this troops in Alexandria right here. How many are they trying to get now? You say they still got 18,000? Okay. We have about 16,000 now. Here we go. Let's add $12-pounder, 6-pounder field gun. Yeah, let's add another battery from Virginia. We'll have it be a bigger one. And we'll have them be green pants, red, just like that. 6-pounder field gun. Let's use our 12-pound howitzers for this one. And we're going to have to figure out kind of what everybody is and where they are. Welcome on in, Quiet Horse. Happy to have you in from Fayetteville, the Army of Arkansas. Yes, prowling in southwest Missouri as they do. Robert E. Lee is with the CSA Engineer Corps for now. He's a brigadier general. I imagine that indeed we probably will end up bringing him into the fold, depending on the success of our early operations out here in Virginia. He will take command in Virginia, for sure, because, well, that's why he fought for the South. So, yeah, it's like we're in alternate history gaming. Like I talk all about that. I had somebody in kind of making fun of the concept the other day, and I made sure to notify them. Like, we don't do stuff like have Lee fight for the Army of Tennessee. We don't do stuff like that. We still honor the way that they were doing things for real, because a lot of the time when you end up studying the history and the way that it happened, I love, history is like, it's like a stack of playing cards balanced end on end is the way I think of it. That's also kind of unbreakable. No matter where you try to slice the cards, you can't. Because every time you try to jump in and change some little piece of actual history, a lot of the time, you'll find that all of the little details that led the thing to happen at that point, like, it wouldn't have ever gone any other way, generally speaking. That's one thing about history that I absolutely love. Because, so, there is no alternate history where Robert E. Lee fights somewhere else other than Virginia. So you can bet that Robert E. Lee will be in command of something in Virginia, and I would love it for him to be in command of, a big army at one point too. Here comes the Department of Pennsylvania. Let's go into offensive posture right here. They're bringing 16,000 troops. they're going to have to wait to cross the river, though. It's nighttime. Okay. Beauregard. Let's bring Johnson and this. We're not going to be able to make it. Nope. All right, Beauregard. Right over here. Force march that. Go, go, go. And we'll have our first major battle, looks like, right around Fredericksburg. And they may be able to bring in the Army of Northeastern Virginia in support. So let's actually... Let's see. Let's... Maybe... let's stop. Let's halt. And let's do this different. Oh, I don't think we're going to have a chance to. Okay. Here they come across the river. We're going to pull out of our camp right here. Department of Pennsylvania. Going to be attacking. Bingo. All right, boys. We've got about 17,000 men against their, say, 16,000. 18 guns to my 21. Oh, my word. The question is, do I set up a defense, deploy to defend, or do I accept a battle? That's, I think, a question that I would ask. Do I withdraw? Right? I don't think so. I feel like the nation demands for us to win this. How are we looking? We can't look at I wanted to try to see if this would be considered a major battle. I think that it is. These are the two largest armies on the continent so far. Guys, I think we're going to have to go in and we're going to have to fight this one here. Starting the war off in Virginia, it's going to be Robert Patterson's troops against PGT Beauregard. Bingo. Oh, my word. Okay. Let's see what we get here. It'll be the Battle of Fredericksburg, or we may call it something else. In any case, what they are going to be able to do, very likely, is like a 1-2 punch, where they'll be able to hit me with this army, and then no matter what happens, if I win, I'll be in the red as far as readiness, and then they'll be able to march down with the Army of Northeastern Virginia and hit me with it and drive me back with it. So I'm thinking of the potential for a quick retreat here. I don't want to wear the army way down. I need it to be available to stay battle ready. So that's I need to know that going in. Here's our strength report. All right, bing, bang, boom. Yeah. Okay, so there you see what we've got looking ahead of us here. We have, oh, wow, we're going to be fighting on the Chancellorsville battlefield. Okay, so, yeah, we can't call this one Fredericksburg, that's for sure. Oh, this is, so I get, anybody who's new to the stream, anybody who's new to the way I play, all right? I am authentic in the way I play, and I am pretty detail-oriented. So you're going to have to forgive me if this takes a hot minute for me to actually get through and do. One thing I like to do, as far as kind of like a LARP, and also to make it a little bit more believable, is to have the objective be pretty far to my rear. That helps make for a more interesting battle, taking into account the way that the AI operates in this game. So Frost's division, I think, Brigadier General Daniel Frost's division, we'll put them on this side of the field. And he'll have, so Furnace Road here at Catherine Furnace, we'll have these guns set. These are 6-pound field guns. They're having a hard time seeing through there, huh? Okay, we'll put them there. All right, and then we're going to have Donaldson, Koch, Cooper, and Withers. They aren't as high a morale as we might like because of the Army's readiness condition. But I would say with 4.5 entrenchments, should we build those? I think we should build those more around Hazel Grove. So what we'll do is Hazel Grove will be the central area of our defense. I don't like to put breastworks up in the open. I put parapets out instead usually. But we're going to have to do this. So these breastworks will kind of go there along this field. Like so. Bink. And then we'll have 1.1 to put a little bit more, say, right up here. See, they'll probably come storming down the road toward Chancellorsville. It may not be worth it to put a whole division over here, frankly. I think we might. Let's go ahead. Let's do another little dink right here, if we can manage it. Okay, we got some of them, not all of them. So let's take Frost and let's bring him back. And I like this. McCullough. Ewell with his Mississippi rifles is going to be over here guarding Catherine's Furnace. I think that's what we're going to do. Boom. Just like that. Skirmishers out. Okay. Colonel Joseph Wheeler's cavalry will be over here helping out. We'll have artillery stationed over here. LZ's 6-pound field guns. Boom. We'll have the cavalry kind of guarding them best we can without getting shot to pieces. All right. Placing the artillery on Hazel's Grove. This will be Hazel Grove, I should say. This will be important. But I think I might rather have a bunch of guns pointing down this road. That would be what the is that the Orange Plank Road? The Orange Turnpike? The Orange Turnpike. And Wilderness Church. This is kind of, I think, will be the main area of our defense. We'll have Jones, Springfield Muskets. Let's have Jones over here. We could take him here, and Wheeler could flex out even further. Let's see, he could go. Wheeler could go here, and Jones could take over where he was. Skirmishers out, and then we've got Hampton's troops. Colonel Wade Hampton with his Mississippi rifles. They go right up on these breastworks that we put in the roadway right there. Frost's division, I think, holds this area here along the Orange Turnpike. Ellie's Ford Road. I don't think, I mean, a flanking maneuver around there, it's a little far-fetched in my opinion, but let's have Withers with his mixed muskets be here. Let's have Cooper be here. Coke like so. This is all Frost's troops, right? And we'll have Donaldson right here. Like so. Okay, these guns, I think we bring them. I think can we get them shooting out that way? Not really. Ooh, there we go. Bingo. That's a good spot. Fantastic. Okay, that'll work right there. So we'll have this approach covered. We'll have this approach covered. This is where our flank could be vulnerable, right? So, Frost, let's get up with your troops, bud. Right about there. As a matter of fact, shade more toward Hazel Grove. This gun battery here. That's funny. They can't even fire right in front of them. That's funny. Here we go there. Okay, so line's looking all right there. I would say McCullough's brigade, we end up putting in reserve. These two brigades in reserve here and here. These guys will kind of be on their own. And if we need to pull back, we can do it. We can do it off of these two. So we have these two supply points here. If there's another day of battle, that's good to know. And then there's a chance that we might have an opportunity to attack them at some point. We'll have to see about that. I don't think I love this artillery being over here anymore. What if we put them here? No, not there, but here. Bam. Okay, so they could fire all the way out there too. Boy, nice to have Hazel Grove right there. Sheesh. Fantastic. Then we got PGT Beauregard at Wilderness Church. Nothing left as far as entrenchment points. There is no reinforcement coming from the Army of Northeastern Virginia. I would love it if we can beat these guys and really bludgeon them good. That'll be the idea anyway. But this is our first major battle of the war here just outside Chancellorsville, go figure, after the Union troops made a crossing near Fredericksburg and headed west from there. We managed to catch up with them here, headed east-west, draw them into a fight in the thicket here at the Wilderness. We'll have to see how this goes. Bonk. We begin. Let's go ahead and let's get some skirmishers out. Nope, can't do it with them. These boys here. We don't have scouts yet with this cav. We could bring them out along the Furnace Road. Let's do this real quick. Donaldson skirmishers. Yes, sir. Okay, Frost. He is going to defend. Right? So we will go ahead. I'm going to do the best I can to just kind of live with the AI, what the AI ends up doing in spots here. We'll go 2 times. Let's see where they're coming from, huh? And I do a home rule where I don't go too far away from my lines to look for dust. I didn't even look where they're coming from, by the way. It will be the east somewhere. Okay, so they're coming from up here. There's my mistake. All right, so they're going to be coming from over this way, right? That's good. I think we lined up okay there. I think it would be good for us to push some skirmishers out. And just keep an eye out that way. Right there. And we're running them. I don't want to take up too much fatigue, but I feel like it's something we probably got to do. Here goes Wheeler's Cav. Do believe we'll be seeing them coming down this way. It is 9:30 a.m. in the battle. Excuse. Here we go, boys. Yeah, we'll just be peeking out here. Going to be important for us not to let this road get cut. And mistake we made right off the bat being careless was we didn't look to see which road they were actually coming in on. Yeah, we can role play that well enough, right? Beauregard didn't guess right. He thought the intel told him they were coming on from Orange Turnpike. Turns out they're on the River Road. Yep. I think we see. There they are. Wow, okay. Way out here, huh? And some right here. Now, it's going to take them a while to get to me. I wonder if it wouldn't behoove us to reposition the army. Frost. What if you went, what if we met them? What if we met them? Right down Mineral Springs Road. What if we took Frost right out to this crossroad and we got him ready to attack? Why not? All right, McCullough's reserve brigade comes forward now near Chancellorsville. And Walton's brigade here. Boom. And we're going to just try to kind of push the line a little further this way. Okay, we're going to go boom. And boom. And then right here, boom. Beauregard. As you can see, the entire army taking shape. He will take up headquarters there at Chancellorsville. Okay, Wheeler continues out to the, or no. He will actually ride fast as he can to the Ellie's Ford Road. Let's go out to here. And we'll get the army on the move. We're going to have to probably do some detailed deployment. Ooh, he's not even going to use the road, huh? These guys will. Hopefully we don't get too tired there. Dadgummit. Okay, Hampton. Bring him up too. Right there. So now you can see where Beauregard's army will be. Arced around Chancellorsville, guarding this crossroad with the cavalry out on the flank. Or, I'm sorry, with the cavalry out on the left flank, rather. And so you can see here, what we're trying to do here is make the battle with the AI just a little bit more interesting. We control the objective. We're not going to come down here and just camp by it. I'm going to come out and I'm going to meet them. We're defending, so what? Here we come. So we'll have a pre-planned fallback position. If I can, oh, here we go. Okay, we've got one federal brigade here. It looks like there might be another division or two coming down the road there. Okay. This brigade needs to get skirmishers out. All of these guys do. Keep them out. Good, good, good. These guns need to move up. Let's bring them, say, here-ish. Cav. Double time. Yeah, I think I see them all coming down here. Ooh, looks like there's going to be a battle for the Chancellor House. Walton's brigade and McCullough's brigade are going to get into it with this Yankee unit here. Let's go ahead and get skirmishers out for everybody. Good, good, good. That way they'll see us and form up. At least that's the hope. Williams. Very good. All right, Wade Hampton. He could come in immediately and flank. Okay, we stopped him. Here comes another federal brigade. Okay, these boys need to halt. Beauregard. Double time, you. Let's go. Let's go bank like that. They'll still get their halt command, but that's fine. This brigade. Halt. Oop. Halt. All right. Now, let's go fight with them. His courier's coming. . Bingo. Halted. Good. Now we're going to get these boys out right here. Double time, please. These guns. Yep, set up right there. We're engaged now. Got our Springfield muskets out. Got our skirmishers out. We got 2 more brigades coming up the road. The Yankees take the field. McCulloch will set up over there. And then Early will be ready, I think, to flank with the rest of Frost's division on the move out this way. Let's have Hampton make himself pesky. Right here. Let's have him charge move there. See how we do. Okay, we got a 2-on-1 developing here against Walton. Here. We'll have a little artillery support on our side. That'll be good. Let's go. Boom. Shoot at them. Let's go. Boom. Shoot at them. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, we got Withers trying to work his way through this area here. Not entirely sure what he's doing. Okay, Beauregard needs to get a messenger down this road to Ewell's brigade to form up right here. We'll let these guys go. This artillery, they stay where they are. Here we go, the action up front with Walton's brigade. They're looking all right. Let's go ahead and lay down with these guys. Let the boys behind open up. Go, 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 go. Fantastic, fantastic. That looks all right to me. Here comes the Federal brigade, looking like they're going to try to hit the flank. Hit these boys. Go, go, go. Double time. Look at them charge moving right there. Somehow they were able to kind of sneak through. They're going to run into some canister fire and flanking fire from here. Pretty sure they're going to take some heavy casualties and make their way back toward the rear. First combat, they're being flanked, but it won't be long before they're not anymore. Here we go. Open up on them. These guys are going to go back and forth, it looks like. Here we go. James's cannons. 5 guns here with Rosser. Going to pump into these boys. Come on, keep it up. Go, go, go. Canister fire, canister fire. Let's lay down with these fellas right here. Yep. Okay, yep. These guys tiring a bit. These brigades here should come pressing, I think, as McCulloch holds on for dear life in the woods right here. His mixed muskets. All right, managed to break this Union brigade here. Who was that? They broke ours too. Slimmer right there. Walton is broken, but it's far from a lost resilience route, which is good. Withers, get in here. Double time. We'll actually take a position inside the Chancellor House. Why not? Be McCulloch there. Good. Ewell, get over here on the flank. All right. Now Jones comes up the road, also on the flank. We got to get a courier down there again. We don't want to have this road get snapped. Beauregard's got to stay here. These brigades have to get into action. We're going to come down on this flank right here. We're going to go off of defend and just give our control back. These boys need to bring the line in. These boys need to bring the line here. These boys will be rallying. Looks like we got the Yanks stacked up along the road right there. That's just fine with me. Patterson, maybe not the best. Maybe not the best that the enemy's got. Ewell will be on a flanking mission over here. Do it. We'll let these guns stay at work. Hampton losing troops fast. He's going to need to back up. Cancel. Fall back. Their loss resilience isn't very high. A little bit problematic, but here we go. Are we not able to get in here? Okay, these cannon. Let's go ahead and bring them here. It's brigade, yep. Keep them coming. Wheeler's cavalry moves to here. And everything centers around the Chancellor House itself. As these Yanks figure out what it is they want to do over here, daggum. What are we going to have, gentlemen? All right, you got Withers troops that are in Chancellorsville. You got Hampton that's now broken. That's a lost resilience route, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Well, he's coming back to Beauregard to rally, though. That's good. Okay, these boys need to get the heck out of here. Retreat. Retreat. Beauregard. Yeah. Okay, they're going to just push. Not a bad idea by them. As you can see, we lost a gun. Okay, McCullough needs to counterattack. We got to try to keep them jammed up on the road right there. It's a good thing we got troops in the chateau, as it were. I've seen the AI do this before. I mean, it's just kind of like they treat it like a battering ram. And they just plug, and they just go for the center. They just go, go, go. Let's get skirmishers out. Right here. These boys are going good. These boys good. Okay, Frost. Come on here. Withers Brigade. Yeah, okay, they're not there. Okay, good. So let's bring them. Let's bring them out. No. Okay, so Withers Brigade is in there. Right, okay. Skirmishers back out? Nope. All right, we're in the open right here. First combat, McCullough's Brigade. Opening up against these boys here. You find the Yankees now have figured out that I'm out here. Ewell's Brigade. Time for them to make something of themselves. This is looking pretty good here. You got some skirmishers over here. Oh, here we go. Okay, we got this brigade on their flank. We got Koch. We have Cooper's brigade here. He needs to just lay down, keep the flank under guard on that side, I think. McCullough, he's doing good. These guns are still firing here. We need these guns to be ready to fire as well. Let's bring them to here. If they can do it. Ah, crap. Okay. Walton's going to go ahead and make his way further to the rear. He doesn't like being here. Cooper's on the flank. I like this. This is nice. Let's send skirmishers back out from him. And you got the Yanks just kind of hemmed up in a brigade by brigade action here just outside Chancellorsville. They're going to attack into these woods now. That's smart. Let's send these skirmishers over to futz with them. Let's send these boys over here. Let's have these boys attack them. McCullough's going to be taking nasty casualties now. He's 2-on-1 right here. But not anymore, thank goodness. Take him. And we got a nasty fight in the woods outside Chancellorsville right here as the first battle of the war gets well underway in our Confederate campaign. What is going to happen with this, gentlemen? Let's get the cavalry right here. Nope, not that way. I want you to go right here first. Okay, this brigade. Let's bring them to here if we can. And we've got Ewell skirmishers in the action. Good. Let's see if we... Ah, shoot. Okay, McCullough broke. Not a lost resilience route. He'll come back to Beauregard. Might break these boys soon. Thankfully, we have Jones' brigade here. And Ewell on the flank. Good. These guns from Elzey are just straight up out of position. But we'll bring them here. We're 2-on-1 against this Yankee brigade right here. We're going to change facing if we can. I won't do it. All right. We're under artillery fire under Cooper, so we should probably just go ahead and aim there. Get them stacked up, boys. McCullough, we'd love for him to rally. Walton, same thing. This little battle out here is nice. Okay, Williams has been run off. Wynkoop, let's see if we can get rid of him. Beautiful. All right, so now Cooper is going to begin falling back right here, but continue firing into the flank of this Union unit. We'll then attack this way and attack this way. The guns will be blazing. We'll advance with these boys and advance with these boys. This first major battle of the war. Could start going against the Yanks. We'll see. Still stable. We don't appear to be falling back. Just there we go. Now we are. We're nervous. And we're charging. We're advancing into the woods here. It looks like we've got a Yankee cavalry charge incoming. Let's have these boys. Oh no, Cooper broke out there. Damn. Okay, Donaldson. Who's in the houses? Withers is back in the houses or not? He's not. He's out here. Okay. Koch's brigade, nervous. Pull back. That's fine. Withers is out here all by himself. He's in the woods, though. He's actually doing pretty good. Too bad these guys broke. They're going to lose even more troops to that cavalry charge, I think. 220 men down. He's going back to Frost. Wheeler's going to have to come out and cover right here. Boom. Jones to the rescue. Jones and Ewell. Attack. Attack. Elzey's guns. Come on out to the edge of the woods right here. Go. Throwing one brigade in at a time. Right along the roadway. Holy smokes, guys. He's crazy. Let's send some guys out to grab that gun. Ah! Coke. Running. First combat for everybody, right? Okay. Let's take a look at what we've got right here. Okay, we've lost a little more than they have. And I would say we're at a point right now, considering, again, the condition of the entire army, where I think I might want to start thinking about pulling back toward Richmond. Withers is going to be pulling out. Yep, I think we're going to go ahead and retreat. Let's go. Okay, so we're going to retreat. We've got plenty of cavalry to cover the retreat. It's fine. We'll be covering here too. Withers as well. And we'll be on the losing end of this first one, unfortunately. It looks like. Dadgum. Not a, you know, pretty fun little battle right here. Let's 2-on-1 these guys. And the Confederate Army will do an orderly withdrawal. Damn it. There goes Withers. Okay, he took heavy casualties, 655. Broken. Jones, turn on them. Ewell might be able to break Butler over here. Bingo. Fire. Bam. All right, I like that. Our artillery is pretty well positioned here. But I would say it's time for these boys to get out. Union forces are pushing ahead. We got dismounted cav that can get in their way. And Walton is back. Okay, we're withdrawn. All right. We end up losing about 2,200 men to their 1,800, which isn't too bad. We lose 2 guns of 26. They don't lose any. They lose some of their cavalrymen. You know, nasty little fight right there. And we'll get sent back reeling a bit in Virginia, having lost our very first major battle. Shoot. Shoot, shucks. But again, what we're worried about is being in the red for when the Army of Northeastern Virginia comes crashing down, which I believe will be coming. We have seen the elephant, gentlemen. In retreat, Colonel Hampton loses face. Okay. So we're down to 97 after that loss. We captured 42 enemy soldiers. We lost 404 missing. 279 killed. Ouch. Okay. It wasn't a rout. Just a loss. And we'll pull back to here. The Army of the Shenandoah. I would say it's only got 2,600 men. How long is it going to be before they get their troops? 4 days, 9 days, 22, 31, 21, 48. Okay. Well, I'd say the Army of the Shenandoah ought to march here. March here, taking the rail however far we can to reinforce the Army of Virginia, and then be ready, I think, for a counterattack once we get there. There we go. Major Union victory. The Confederates lose morale. Davis calls an emergency meeting. Southerners losing heart. Okay, so the Yankees get their major battle victory. So that's off of our list. Their national morale goes up to 89. Damn. Okay. Could capture Kentucky or Missouri. Interesting. 5 consecutive land battles. That would be a big get. Got a rear guard action. Okay. Wade Hampton's troops are going to have to come up to Richmond. Go. Got a unit routed. We're still in the orange. That's the key. And I hope that we put them in the orange and force them to stop. It looks like that is the case. Whew. And there's the aftermath of your first major battle right around Chancellorsville as this Confederate campaign gets underway. Unfortunately, we suffer a loss. Didn't coordinate the troops quite as well as I would have liked there. Not at all. Not even in the least. But a fun battle nonetheless as we make our way up towards Springfield. Woo, this Confederate campaign's a good one, gentlemen. I hope we don't end up suffering a disaster in the very beginning. Right here. I want to finish this fort. And then all of these troops are going to concentrate likely in this region. And we're going to try and counterattack. And what we're going to have to hope for is that we can get this done before the Army of Northeastern Virginia gets down here. We've got a raiding Union flying flotilla. They're on defensive. Good. And here you see me not able to quit yet. By the way, how many troops do they have? Okay, they have 86,000 men fielded right now to our 50. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we did quite a good enough job getting recruits in quickly. They may rush us in the east. We're going to have to defend Richmond most likely right off the rip. We'll see how this goes, of course. Whew! My goodness, folks. What a good old time in alternate history gaming with me, Bank60s, your humble and gracious player host. Once again, thanks, guys. Appreciate you taking the time. Long CSA campaign stream tonight. Hope you had fun. I know I did. Of course, the VOD will be publishing here in the next 24 hours or so. I'll make sure that's nice and edited up, trimmed up nicely for you. And please do continue your support. I appreciate everybody who jumped in tonight in the chat. You guys are the best. Don't forget, thumbs up on the video on the stream. Thank you so much. If you're brand new watching tonight, subscribe to the channel. We will be doing this once again coming up in Grand Tactician this coming Saturday. So be ready for that. And then not too long from now on Thursday night, I'm back into Scourge of War with the 7 Days campaign. Looking forward to that one as well. Dudes, I appreciate you guys. Thanks again for taking the time. Do not forget to hit the notification bell to find out the next time I drop a stream or vid for you. I am Bank60s, and we'll see you all on the next one.